Hello, children. Today we are going to start our next lesson in political science. The name of the lesson is Public Facilities, Chapter 9. But before I get into the lesson, I would like to share a few cases which show what are the situations which we are facing in our real world. Case number 1. A senior government officer like Mr. Ram Gopal lives in Annanagar, Chennai. His area looks lush and green with lawns maintained by generous spraying of water. The bungalows here have tap water for major part of the day. On days when the water supply is inadequate, Mr. Ram Gopal speaks to a senior official whom he knows in the municipal water board, and a water tanker is easily arranged for his house. So, as you can see, he faces no problem in getting water. Case 2. Subramaniam's apartment is in Mylapore. He suffers from water shortage. This area gets municipal water once in 2 days. There is a private borewell which meets some of the water requirements of the residents. Borewell water is brackish, so the residents use it in their toilets and for washing. For other users, water is purchased from tankers. Subramaniam spends up to rupees 500 to 600 per month on buying water from the tankers. For drinking water, residents have installed water purification systems in their homes. Case 3. Siva lives on a rent on the first floor of a house in Madipakam and gets water once in 4 days. Shortage of water is one of the major reasons why Shiva can't bring his family to Chennai. For drinking, Shiva buys bottled water. Case 4. Padma works as a domestic help in Saidapet and lives in the nearby slum area. Padma pays a rent of Rs 650 for the Huntman, which has neither a bathroom nor a tap connection. For 30 such houses, there is one common tap at one corner in which water comes from a borewell for 20 minutes twice daily. A family gets to fill a maximum of 3 buckets within this time. The same water is used for washing and drinking. In summer, the flow of water is really very slow. People have to wait for long hours for water tankers. Children, we come to know from these situations that certain people in our society have everything. That is, the rich class with their money can buy anything, but this is not so for the middle and the poor class people. Water is one of the basic necessity of life. According to the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, water is essential for life and for good health. Safe drinking water can prevent many water-related diseases. India has one of the largest number of cases of diseases such as diarrhea, dysentery, and cholera. Over 1,600 Indians, most of them children below the age of 5, reportedly die every day because of water related diseases. These diseases can be prevented if people have access to safe drinking water. Under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, right to water is considered as part of right to life. This means that it is the right of every person, whether rich or poor, to have sufficient amounts of water to fulfill his or her daily needs at a price that he or she can afford. In short, it can be said that there should be universal access to water for everyone. There have been many cases in which both the High Court and the Supreme Court have held that the right to safe drinking water is a fundamental or basic right of every citizen. In 2007, the Andhra Pradesh High Court restated this while hearing a case based on a letter written by a villager of Mahabul Nagar district on the contamination contamination of drinking water. The villagers' complaint was that a textile company was letting out poisonous chemicals into a stream near his village, contaminating not only the groundwater but also the river water, which was the source for irrigation and drinking. The judges directed the Mahabubnagar district collector to supply 25 liters of water to each person in the village. From all these incidents, we come to know that water is a basic part of life, and in order to live a comfortable life, it is necessary that every citizen should be provided safe drinking water. Water is considered to be one of the public facilities which is provided by our government at a very affordable price. Like water, there are other essential facilities that are provided for everyone. These public facilities are healthcare, education, sanitation, and employment. Children, by now you might have come to know what are public facilities. Public facilities are those facilities which are the basic requirements for a comfortable living. These facilities are to be provided by the government of a country, because if the government takes hand in providing these facilities, then not only the cost of this facility will be low, but it will equally reach to all the sections of our society. The important characteristic or feature of a public facility is that once it is provided, it benefits a large number of people. For example, if a school is open in a village, then it will enable many children to get educated. Similarly, the supply of electricity in an area will help not only the factories, but also it will help many houses which are situated in that particular area. So we come to know public facilities are very important for the safe and comfortable living of every citizen. Since public facilities are so important, then someone must take the responsibility of providing these to a large number of people. This someone is the government. One of the most important functions of the government is to ensure that these public facilities are available to everyone. We all know that certain private companies also provide public facilities like schools and hospitals, but they charge a price that only some people can afford. Take for example the cost of water. If these water tankers which are provided by the municipal corporation, if this responsibility goes into the hands of the private companies, then the money they charge for the supply of water may exceed to 3 times from what government is charging. Hence, it is the responsibility of the government to ensure that public facilities are made available to everyone at a cheap cost. Now the question arises, where does the government get money for providing public facilities to all the citizens of our country? We all know that every year the government presents a budget in the parliament. This budget shows the account of the expenses that government has made on its programs in the past year and how it is planning to spend the money in the coming year. In the budget, the government also announces the various ways in which it plans to meet the expenses. The main source of income of the government is through the taxes that it collects from its people, and the government is given the right to collect these taxes and use them for providing public facilities such as the water facility, safe sanitation, healthcare, education, good transportation, proper electricity, and so on and so forth. As each of these public facilities requires a lot of money so that it is available to all the citizens of our country, government charges a minimum amount which can be collected from the people in the form of taxes. For example, to supply water, the government has to incur costs in pumping water, carrying it over long distances, laying down pipes for distribution, treating the water for impurities, and finally collecting collecting and treating the wastewater. It meets all these expenses partly from the various taxes that it collects and partly by charging a price for water. Although public facilities should be made available to everyone equally, but in reality we see that there is a great shortage of such facilities. As discussed earlier in the cases, the water supply in Chennai is marked by shortages. Municipal supply meets only about half of the needs of the people of the city on an average. There are areas which get water more regularly than others. Those areas are the ones which are close to the storage points, so they get more water, whereas colonies which are situated further away receive less water. The burden of shortfalls in water supply falls mostly on the poor. The middle class people, when faced with water shortages, are able to cope through a variety of private means, such as digging bore wells, buying water from tankers, and using bottled water for drinking. The wealthy people have more choices. This is mostly because of the flourishing market of bottled water and water purifiers. In reality, therefore, it seems that it is only people with money who have the right to water. The situation in Chennai is not special. It is common in most of the cities, particularly during the summer months. This shortage in municipal water is increasingly being filled by an expansion of private companies who are selling water for profit. In order to meet the needs of people so that there is no water shortage in the city, the municipal corporation has allowed certain private companies sell water. Not only this, there has been a standard set by the Urban Water Commission regarding the use of water. The supply of water per person per day in an urban area in India is about 135 liters, whereas people in slums have to use less than 20 liters a day per person. People living in luxury hotels may consume as much as 1,600 liters of water per day. This is again a great injustice of inequality which the Indians are facing in our country. A shortage in the supply of water is often taken as the sign of government failure, and so many people argue that since government is unable to supply the amount of safe water, so government should allow private companies to take over the task of water supply. According to them, private companies can do a better job in supplying water to everyone. But there are facts which we need to learn. Fact number 1. Throughout the world, water supply is a function of the government, but there are a very few instances where private companies have also given better job in providing water. Fact number 2. There are areas in the world where public water supply has achieved universal access. That is, safe drinking water is provided to all. Take for example Porto Alegre. Porto Alegre is a city in Brazil which has achieved universal access to safe water, and this is the main reason why there are lower number of infant deaths in that city compared to the other cities in the world. The average price of water is kept very low and the poor are charged half the basic rate. Whatever profit the department makes is used to improve the water supply. Fact number 3. If the responsibility of supplying water is handed over to private companies, then there has been observed a sharp rise in the price of water, making it unaffordable for many people. Cities have seen huge protests with riots breaking out in places like Bolivia, forcing the government to take back the service from private hands. Fact number 4. Within India, there are cases of success in government water departments. The water supply departments in Mumbai raises enough money through water charges to cover the expenses of supplying water. In Hyderabad, a report shows that the department has increased coverage and improved the performance in revenue collection. In Chennai, the department has taken several steps for harvesting rainwater to increase the level of groundwater. It has also used the services of private companies for transporting and distributing water. The government water supply department decides the rate for water tankers and gives them permissions to operate. Although a government has formulated a lot of alternatives like setting up the standard of use of water, taking the help of private companies in supply of water, and motivating people to do rainwater harvesting to provide safe drinking water to all, but much has still to be done. Children, so the next time when you use water, think what is actually required by you. The purpose of water is to sustain life. Everybody has equal rights to live life in a comfortable and safe manner, and water is one of the basic necessity for everyone to live a comfortable and safe life. Don't waste water, don't let others waste water. Children, with that I conclude today's lesson.